So actually, currently in my favorite part of writing right now, it's something not talking about yet, but just thinking about this is hanging weird on me. Okay, and that is the kind of mass idea collection where you have the general gist of what you're going to do. It's going to be this kind of thing and these kind of themes, maybe, and you start finding those themes because you start just collecting all these ideas and you putting them in there and you're trying to go to sources. And this is like the one time that I kind of like open myself up and will allow myself to read things that may be tangential or along those lines, not to steal from, but to be influenced by or think about and kind of put ideas in my head and listen to a lot of music, a lot of different music versus the actual writing where it is just one song. This is the listen to a bunch of stuff and kind of often just write lyrics in or something, come up with jokes that don't fit in. This is the part when you're doing it with a team of writers and you're in the writer room that you're just cracking each other up, right? Because like every day you're just laughing at some joke and it's like there's jokes that will never make it into the game, have no bearing in the game. But right now it's just this free form idea. Everything's a yes, nothing's a no. And it's fun because you don't have that hard point yet where when you're actually doing the writing and putting it in, you're like, oh, wait a minute. They don't know about this thing yet, or they're not going to hear it because there's combat going on over here. I've got to shorten it there. I can't be guaranteed this character is going to be here, or how far are they going to be away? Is it going to be funny still if they're around the corner from each other and they say this line, or does it need to be there? Like, all of that very nitty gritty at the end when I'm actually doing the writing is my least favorite part, just because you have to throw away so much of this side of it, like this dream and this hope of what you were going to do, right? And not to say that you ruin it. And often you find something good and you find like a path through, and that end part as well. But I just really like this beginning part because you have this dream of, I wake up and I have these thoughts in my head. This is one reason why I've been making a lot of videos, because kind of the thoughts in my head have been about this thing I'm working on. And you just kind of have all of this kind of potential of what it could be. In your head, of course, it's the greatest thing ever. And, whatever. You never think you're writing something or coming up with a bad idea, but you're like, oh, this is really good. You haven't kind of had that crushingness of reality hitting it yet. And that's my favorite part. There's a transition part where you're kind of like, okay, this is really what it's about. Now there's enough thematic things. Often this is kind of the rule of if you're coming up with, I say gags, but they're not really gags like jokes, but like ways that people talk or things they talk about or something like that, right? Bits. You have to have multiple. You can't just have one-offs. You have to have multiple. So can you find enough that you just trust, hey, in the future I can think of more of these, right? Like the intro of going into the safe rooms, in the start of each level. You write a couple of those, in like the Left 4 Dead or the Crucis, you write a couple of those, and you realize, oh, I don't need to write all of these now. I'll come up with them. They'll come because there's enough of those. And so you're trying a lot of that now, and it's like the next stage is about to start where you really need to do that. Of like, are there enough of these? Will this work? Hey, this is a good idea. Can I think of more along this lines? And that's still pretty good, but it is actual writing. Where you're literally just filling out a spreadsheet kind of thing and making sure everything's connected and working. And that's just because the dreams die there a little bit, but it's still fun. I mean, dear God, I have dug ditches in my life. I have dug a water line from the street to a house where a woman in 90-degree weather would take out a folding chair, sit with an iced tea, and watch me dig this ditch, me and this other guy. So this is easy. This is just the easiest job in the world, writing. It's never hard. That was hard. That was hard just not to, oh my God. She never offered us the iced tea once. We drank out of a warm hose. Yeah. So this is just easy. It's all fun to that extent.